Welcome to the special council meeting at the City of Marshalltown held at the Council Chambers, 10 West State Street. Today's date is June 18, 2018, and it is noon. I'd better get a card for Sharon because our anniversary is tomorrow. Notice to the public, we welcome comment from the public. During discussion of any of the agenda items, you're required to step to the microphone, give us your name and address, and limit your time to 3 minutes. It does help if you are a member of the public that if you stand up, then I can recognize you. With our screens and podium and stuff, it's sometimes hard to recognize if people are raising their hands. Speakers are to speak clearly and direct their comments to the mayor and city council, but not to any councilors specifically, and it's the discretion of the mayor and the council to respond to questions and comments. We've been called to order. Those who are able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Cahill.
Here.
Gowdy.
Here.
Hoop.
Here.
Isom.
Here.
Lamer. Absent. Martin.
Here.
Warren.
Here.
Very good, thank you. The first item is item E, Urban Renewal Area Number 3, Amendment Number 7. That requires a public hearing, so I'll declare the public hearing open at 12:02 p.m. Were there any written comments received by the clerk?
Not specifically for this hearing.
And are there any public comments?
Hi, Mark Eaton, 1007 South 10th Avenue, Marshalltown, Iowa. So just a little review. Iowa Department of Revenue has got a really nice document on TIF. It explains that TIF is capturing the incremental growth of the taxes, property taxes, incurred on a property after a TIF district is created. That TIF money, that incremental growth, is only available to the city to use unless they decline to use it, which means it takes money away from the school systems. TIF has a direct impact on the state general fund through its interaction with the state school foundation. 43% of the property tax goes to the schools. TIF has diverted over $123 million from the state foundation aid, or from state taxpayers. So schools are missing out on the growth. So if you expand this TIF district, you're actually taking money away from the school system. Also, I own property in this TIF district number 3, and I'm concerned that the reason for expanding this is to give a person money to build a business or expand a business, which does not create any jobs. So that's the sole. TIF is really used by counties and cities to attract people and businesses for jobs. And it's used in competition with other cities which are using their TIF money. But we have no competition for this investment in this instance. Mr. Hoop asked me about special interest deals on a public forum on the web, and this is one. Just like giving $16,000 to a company to tear down the funeral home on 3rd Avenue with claims that it's a traffic problem, but all the while we're planning on making 3rd Avenue narrower and 3 lanes. This is also an example. So I'm interested in this because if this passes, then basically that opens the door, these two kinds of events, for me to come and ask for money to expand my facility. I don't think it should be passed. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Is it? Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, Whitney Hunt. I'm the Assistant Marshall County Auditor and Recorder, and I work with TIFs a lot. One thing I'd like to ask is that our letter that we sent for the hearing be added to these notes. we sent a letter, and we'd like to have that put in.
That was part of the response, so it is part of the resolution.
Okay, I didn't see it anywhere. Because
It was
it's
in
been an
last-
attachment on the,
It was in last meetings, the last meetings. The 17 pages were included in the agenda packet on last
oh,
week.
it wasn't a separate item like it had been before? I mean, in previous ones, it was a separate item, so you could tell, oh, the county said something, or the school said something, or,
I have it indexed in my permanent record as such, but it was not included as a
okay.
individual
I probably
on
missed
this
it then, that it was in the
agenda.
back of that. Okay. I guess, and then the email that we sent prior to the last hearing, the Friday before, where we asked for, we talked to the Department of Management and the county attorney about asking it to be removed from the agenda because we didn't have notice. And I also, in that email, talked about the legal description again. We still have that issue. The legal description, even for the part being added, is not correct. We've asked multiple times for it to be a new legal description to be done by somebody that's qualified, such as a surveyor, that kind of thing. We still don't have a good description. The other thing is, I think it's really a bad use of TIF to give money to somebody so that they can meet code for a storage facility that's, A, not going to create any jobs, it's a self-storage, and it's within 1,800 feet of another self-storage unit. So you're giving money to somebody that you're basically setting them up in competition with a current business owner that's been there for 28 years. I just don't think that's right. There's no minimum assessment agreement. Every time we've asked about it, we're just told we haven't really discussed it yet. I think that takes the burden off of the taxpayers and the taxing entity. And it's definitely your prerogative to say, hey, if you want this money, you got to agree to this. What else? Just looking at Google, we have 7 mini storage facilities in Marshalltown. That's not regular storage facilities, it's just mini storage facilities. And the whole point of expanding this is for this one mini storage facility, because basically all the other lots are taken. I mean, it's not like it's really going to bring in some huge business. And I know that the responses we got were that they hadn't asked for it. Well, if it's not part of the TIF district, how can you ask for it? Country K Storage won't be able to ask for it because the TIF boundary is on their southern line, so they are just adjacent to the TIF district. So they'd never be able to say, hey, can we get some money? I think there's good uses for TIF, and there's bad uses for TIF, and I just don't think this is one that should be approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Staff review. Is there anyone addressing the staff review component?
Yes, just to clarify where we're at here, urban renewal area number 3 is what is considered our south side commercial area with the boundaries basically starting at Olive Street and sort of coming around down South Center Street and then expanding out onto Iowa Avenue. The portion to be added here is from basically the west city limits to what would be the west edge of this border near South 12th Street of the existing area. So it's not a large area that we're adding, and we're adding the items that are on the frontage. And so part of this is to add in the area, but then this also does set up the authority for you to then consider a development agreement for a storage unit facility located on a parcel in the property. That is still being negotiated with the proposed developer, and so that is not something that is final before you. There's a lot of other things that have to happen in the way of adoption of this in order for that to then come forward to you. So this is really the first step in the process. While this plan is one that you're seeing now for the first time in a while to amend, it is one that we will be coming back and doing another amendment to at some point in the year to specify any future public improvement projects that we would need to add or want to add, as well as then laying out some broad parameters for consideration of other development agreements in this area. The urban renewal area number 2, which you just approved last Monday evening, set out the parameters of creating jobs and/or creating taxable value. And so that is what I would call precedent that we have set for a consideration with future development agreements in areas where we've specified those as our parameters. And so the parameter that was specified here was creating additional taxable value from what the property is currently what the current value is. So there is that element there that was to be part of this project. But again, ultimately with the development agreement, when that is, ready to come forward, that will require a public hearing as well. And so there will be additional consideration of a development agreement at some point in the future.
Your Honor, I have a question. Ms. Kinzer, do you know what the taxes collected on this parcel in question are right now?
I can pull it up quickly. You're talking about the parcel with the potential for the development agreement?
Yeah, and assessed value is fine too, either one.
It looks like for assessment year, or for the what's to be paid or assessments that are as of 1/1 of 17, the total assessed is 168,000, total taxable 151. And so the same assessed value continues for the assessment year that is for January 1st, 2018 as well, but there's no taxable yet.
Okay.
I have a question, please. Is I see on the fourth, I guess it's the fourth piece in our packet that has a physical description of the area. How does that differ from a legal description put forth by a surveyor as brought up by the county?
So, in our opinion, there is no difference. We had one of our employees who works with GIS and in the engineering department go through and put this together. The county keeps saying that there are issues with the legal description, but they have not pointed out what those are. This has been a process where you all have set this public hearing multiple times before. We did pull it off the table because of previous legal description issues. And so at this point, we have had nothing actually told to us as to what is the issue. And so I'm comfortable with where our staff has put us on this and did not feel the need to employ a surveyor to do the legal description on this one.
Any other council comments?
Just one, Your Honor. This is a clarification on this. Just because if we go through and pass this doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to okay any development in that area. And I think that's something to be considered, that we will have the opportunity at that point if and I forget the guy's name, I apologize, or anybody in that area. So I'm still slightly divided, but yet I wanted to make sure that was clear in my mind, that we're just passing to enlarge this area and not passing any individual request for money.
You are correct, Councilmember Gowdy, that there is the authority in there for you to consider a development agreement at a future date. And so, but this in no way binds the council to do anything with that authority once you have approved it, if you're going to approve it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other consular comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll declare the public hearing is closed at 12:15 p.m. Let's go to item number F on motions. I'm sorry. We need to vote to.
There's a resolution. There's items B and C on the agenda.
Sure. Okay, thank you. We're to EB, Resolution 2018-112, approving amendment number 7. Is there a motion to approve that?
I so move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Cahill,
Yes.
Goudy,
Yes?
Hoop,
Yes.
Isom,
Yes.
Martin,
No.
Weirin,
Yes.
Carried 6-1. And now let's go to item C, sub C. The ordinance 14975, providing for division of taxes levied on the taxable property in amendment number 7. Is there a motion to approve that ordinance?
I move for approval.
Second, Your Honor.
Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Goudy,
Yes.
Hoop,
Yes.
Isom,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Weirin,
Yes.
Cahill,
Yes.
Now let's go to item F, which is motions. And Madam Clerk, would you read the first one, please?
This is a motion to reconsider ordinance 14973, amending Chapter 26, Streets and Sidewalks, Article 3, sidewalks by repealing current language and adopting new ordinance, or adopting new language.
Is there a motion to approve the second reading? Or a motion, I'm sorry, is there a motion to reconsider the ordinance?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Discussion on this item.
Is there two separate votes going to be here?
This is actually just one, that the reconsider, if this were to be approved, that we would place the ordinance for the second reading on the June 25th agenda.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion? Let's do the roll on this one, please.
Hoop,
Yes.
Isom,
Yes.
Martin,
No.
Weirin,
Yes.
Cahill,
Yes.
Goudy,
Yes.
Carried 6-1, 5-1 again. And that is the last item on the agenda. And so I'll declare the meeting is adjourned at 12:17 p.m.